Hi everybody, this is Matthew Anthony, aka Stryder HD, and welcome to this week's Who Would Win. This week's episode is between Captain Marvel versus Shazam. As usual, I'm going to start with their backgrounds, powers, skills, and other abilities, and then it's time for you all to vote on the top right side of the screen to who you think would win in this epic fight to the death. While you do that, I'm going to go to last week's fight between Lex Luthor versus the Joker and give out the final results of the polls for that fight. And then finally, my verdict. Let's get started. Carol Susan Jane Danvers is a fictional superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Created by writer Rob Thomas and artist Gene Colan, Danvers first appeared as an officer in the United States Air Force and a colleague of the Kree superhero Mar-Vell in the Marvel Superheroes number 13 in March of 1968. Danvers later became the first incarnation of Miss Marvel in Miss Marvel number 1 in January of 1977, after her DNA was fused with Mar-Vell's during an explosion, giving her superhuman powers. Debuting in the Silver Age of comics, the character was featured in a self-titled series in the late 1970s before becoming associated with the superhero teams the Avengers and the X-Men. Danvers has been labeled Marvel's biggest female hero and quite possibly Marvel's mightiest Avenger. As Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers initially possessed superhuman strength, endurance, stamina, physical durability, a limited precognitive seventh sense, and a perfectly amalgamated human Kree physiology that rendered her resistant to most toxins and poisons. As binary, the character could tap the energy of a white hole, allowing full control and manipulation of stellar energies, and therefore control over heat, the electromagnetic spectrum, and gravity. Lightspeed travel and the ability to survive in the vacuum of space was also possible. She originally only had the power of flight thanks to a contraption under her suit. Although the link to the white hole was eventually severed, Danvers retained her binary powers on a smaller scale, enabling her to both absorb energy and project it in photonic form. She can also still survive in space. While she lacks a constant source of energy to maintain the abilities at their previous cosmic level, she can temporarily assume her binary form if empowered with a high enough infusion of energy. Danvers possesses superhuman strength and durability, can fly at roughly 6 times the speed of sound, retains her quote-unquote seventh sense, and can discharge explosive blasts of radiant energy, which she fires from her fingertips. She also demonstrates the ability to absorb other forms of energy, such as electricity, to further magnify her strength and energy projection up to the force of an exploding nuclear weapon. When sufficiently augmented, she can withstand the pressure from a 92-ton weight and strike with a similar level of force, although Hank Pym theorized that this likely was not her limit. Danvers cannot absorb magical energy without consequence, though she aided Dr. Stephen Strange in the defeat of the mystic menace Sir Warren Traveler. Captain Marvel, also known as Shazam, is a comic book superhero appearing in publications by American publisher DC Comics. Artist C.C. Beck and writer Bill Parker created the character in 1939. He is the alter ego of Billy Batson, a boy who, by speaking the word Shazam, on book sales, the character was the most popular superhero of the 1940s, outselling even Superman in the DC universe. Billy is also able to share his powers with others. Each letter of Shazam is also an acronym for a type of power. S stands for the wisdom of science, and nearly infallible wisdom, including an innate understanding of virtually all known languages and sciences, for clarity. H for the strength of Hercules. The mind of Hercules grants superhuman strength comparable to that of the legendary demigod, making him one of DC Comics' strongest characters. He is able to easily bend steel in his bare hands, do the work of several laborers in a fraction of the amount of time, produce powerful shockwaves by clapping his hands, punch through nearly any structure, and lift and toss massive objects. A for the stamina of Atlas. Using Atlas's stamina grants near limitless resilience. He never feels fatigued or tired, and as such does not require rest or sleep, spells and attacks. A for the courage of Achilles. This aspect is mostly psychological and spiritual in nature. The courage of Achilles confers the mental fortitude of a legendary Greek hero, which gives him superhuman levels of inner strength, willpower, discipline, and resolve from which to draw upon in times of hopelessness, of fear, or despair. M for the speed of Mercury. By channeling Mercury's speed, Shazam can move at superhuman speeds comparable to the Flash and fly at supersonic speed. He is able to move at sublight speeds in orbit, and in outer space he can fly at translight speeds, although in older comics he could only leap great distances. Shazam is not completely invulnerable. In several stories, he's shown to be susceptible to high-powered magic, which can weaken or depower him, and in some older stories to significantly high voltages of lightning or electricity, which make him revert back to Billy Batson form. Since the 2011 reboot, Shazam's powers have been slightly altered. He does not want it to, and can be used to cast magic spells other than the transformation. The character was ranked as the 55th greatest comic book character of all time by Wizard magazine. Alright everybody, if you don't feel like you got all the information that you needed in order to cast your vote, now is your time to go on the internet, go to your old comic book collection, ask your friends to who you think would ultimately win in this fight. Before you guys vote, let me go back to last week's Who Would Win match between Lex Luthor versus the Joker and give out the final polling results. It looks like in this contest, the Joker has won 60% to 39% over Lex Luthor, giving him the edge against Lex Luthor by almost 20%. Now it's time for you guys to vote. After you guys vote, I'm going to give out my final verdict. Alright guys, now that hopefully everybody has voted, my final verdict for this matchup is...
Come on!
That was more of an alley-oop, I feel like.
Dude, an alley-oop is a dunk.
Shazam, the original Captain Marvel from DC Comics. Shazam's powers come from divine sources, each of the gods and heroes having some of the most powerful attributes in history and myth. While Miss Marvel has cosmic powers, I can say with confidence that divine trumps cosmic. Shazam's abilities are far greater in power. For example, at base level, Shazam's speed is faster than light, even while running. He is also granted infinite stamina. Lastly, Captain Marvel may have powerful energy-based abilities, but they aren't nearly as strong as other energy-based characters like the Green Lanterns. Her constructs especially are simply not strong enough to be as powerful. This intelligence is from arguably the most intelligent man in history and myth, Solomon. In short, Shazam can easily come up with a plan to defeat Captain Marvel in nearly any circumstance if he wills it. Billy is faster, stronger, more durable, and has Solomon's wisdom. If it's duel to the death, then Billy takes it. Alright everybody, thanks for checking out my Who Would Win video this week. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Make sure and come back early next week to vote for next week's Who Would Win. I put that up on my community page for everyone to vote for next week's Who Would Win. If you guys like my videos, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, and comment on the bottom of the screen. And I hope you guys enjoy these types of videos. If you guys have any ideas for other types of theory videos or other types of Marvel and movie videos, maybe reviews, hope you guys enjoyed the video this week. Come back next week and make sure you vote for next week's Who Would Win. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.